introduce you and everything, right? Hey everybody, welcome to the latest edition of Man Coverage. We have a special guest in studio today, Patriot fan, and my friend Adrian. How you doing?
Nice to meet you. So glad to be on the show.
Denzel is not able to make it today, but the show must go on. Adrian will be a special guest. He'll come in here and there, give his opinion on a couple things. So today we're going to talk a little bit about the Patriots, and a couple things have been going on. Like, for example, Josh McDaniels was supposed to be the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts, and he pulled out at the last minute to stay the offensive coordinator for the Patriots. So what do you think that means for the team and McDaniels moving forward?
Well, I really think McDaniels staying is really going to help that offense, and I really firmly believe this is New England's move to use him as the successor to Bill Belichick. I really believe that he's been there long term. He's been there for many years. I really do believe that he's the successor to Belichick. And that he elevates offense. He's going to elevate the offense.
The offense. What do you think? So with him back, what do you think that means for him going forward, as far as any other head coaching opportunities that he may have the opportunity to go to?
I think it really shoots him in the foot for the other NFL teams, because he had a deal in place and then he just backed out. It's really a trust issue now. A lot of the other GMs are not going to see him as a trustworthy coach.
Okay, so me personally, I think that it just means that yes, he's eventually going to take over for Belichick. I think Belichick has maybe 2 more years left of Super Bowl runs. I believe that McDaniels and Belichick sat in a room, and Belichick said, listen, I'm not going to be here forever, and you could take the head coaching job for Indianapolis with an uncertainty about Andrew Luck's health, because he did miss the whole season with a shoulder injury, and it's worse than we think. And I believe that Belichick is going to hand McDaniels the key to the city when he's gone. But as far as other head coaching opportunities for McDaniels, I think, yes, it does shoot itself in the foot, because, like, say next year the Browns want to hire him, like, or are interested in him. How can they trust him? How do they know that he won't do something like this again? And you got to look at his previous head coaching opportunities when he was with the Denver Broncos. It wasn't so good, so that really hurts his resume a little bit moving forward. But I think for the Patriots, that's a good thing, because I would like for, as a Patriot fan, McDaniels to take over the team once Belichick retires, because continuity, and you really don't want to start from scratch. You still want to bring in the next wave of
I think
guys.
A lot now is since he's coming back to New England, or staying with New England, I think Belichick's going to finally show him how he runs a team.
Right, yeah.
He's going to finally show the Patriot way, the real Patriot way.
Yeah, I think he's going to get a whole different role as an offensive coordinator, prepping to be the next Patriot head coach. So with that being said, the draft will be here sooner than we know, and I have a question. Will we go for another quarterback? Because with Garoppolo getting his 5-year deal, becoming the highest paid quarterback in NFL history.
Yep.
Brady, he's going to be 41 this next upcoming season. Do they draft Tom Brady's backup this year?
Out of the crop of quarterbacks, I don't think there's going to be another Garoppolo in this year's draft.
Okay.
However, I do feel like they need to draft a backup. There's still some good, solid prospects out there, except there's no Garoppolo.
No.
It's not going to be a first-round, second-round pick. It's going to be like a 6th, 7th, late-round pick.
Yeah, do you think we should draft a backup just to fill in if, say, injury happens, or should we draft Tom Brady's? Should we draft the next franchise quarterback for the Patriots?
Not this year.
Not this year?
Not this year. This year's going to be more of, let's get past this year and have a possibly deeper quarterback class next year.
This quarterback class has been, I think, is
It's solid.
It's really solid.
On the top end.
On the top end, yes.
You're not going to see very many, I don't know, like Garoppolo's, Dak Prescott's deep in the draft.
Yeah, but like every 2 or 3 years, there's one guy that goes in the 4th, 5th round and ends up panning out to be a star. So
New England would find him.
Yeah, New England. If anyone will find him, it's New England. And yeah, I believe you have no choice but to draft another quarterback this year. And I will make the argument that you might have to draft him in the 1st round because with a 41-year-old Tom Brady, you've seen the hand injury in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You know, he takes his bumps and bruises. So, and when we had Garoppolo when Tom Brady got suspended, we were able to keep.
I mean, we even won with Jacoby Brissett.
Jacoby Brissett,
I mean,
who was a serviceable quarterback because he did good.
Whoever
for
New England picks, if they draft somebody this year, they're gonna be fine for those games.
Yes.
Assuming that Brady doesn't get out for the season,
Yeah.
and then if Brady's done for the season, they're in trouble because they're not gonna draft the franchise quarterback this draft.
Yeah, Brian Hoyer, I mean, he's good for like a game.
He's good for 2 or 3. He's not a full season guy.
But when Brady's done, Hoyer's not the answer. So I believe we do need to draft the next franchise quarterback so we can have that.
Within the next year or two.
Yes, within the next year or two, so we can have that Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers type toss. You know, I don't want to go through 5 years of looking for quarterbacks until we find out one. I kind of want to have it.
I see. Yeah, that's a good idea. You don't want to do that.
Yeah, that's what I don't want to end up having a Mike Glennon for a year, then have to get Josh McCown. I want to have a guy set. So, with that being said, how many more Super Bowl runs do you think Brady and Belichick have left?
Well, as long as they're playing together, there's a Super Bowl run, in my opinion. However, I don't think they got more than 2 to 3 years left. Brady's towards the end of the regular season this year, he started to dip in his performance.
In December?
Yeah, he just wasn't as efficient as he normally is. And then with Belichick getting up there in age, he seems to be losing the interest to, coach for the Patriots now.
Yeah, I think Belichick is let's look at everything that happened with the Garoppolo trade and the Malcolm Butler benching in the Super Bowl. There's been a lot of things that happen in that organization that we're not 100% aware of that I think will come out later that will have some impacts on what happens in the future as far as who coaches, who plays. Like, for example, with Jimmy Garoppolo in San Francisco with the big contract, you look at Tom Brady getting the same amount of money that Mike Glennon's getting, and, Eagles get involved, and then, Kraft chose Brady over Belichick, and so it's a lot going on. But if anyone can handle chaos in their franchise, it's New England. They ignore the noise better than anyone, and they will be locked in and focused for the next season. I think with Julian Edelman coming back and you have Rob Gronkowski, I believe he will return. The retirement talk is just him just being concerned for his health. It's emotional. He just lost the Super Bowl. He had a concussion in the AFC Championship. I think he was just talking. I believe Gronk will be back. One thing we do need to do is improve our defense if we want to make another run, because Nick Foles had hung 41 on our defense.
Oh, yeah. They just demolished us.
That's unacceptable. We need to get actual pass rushers. We need, if Malcolm Butler walks, we need to get a secondary corner.
Yeah.
Because Gilmore can handle the number ones, but we need a corner that can battle the Taylor Gabriel type guy to a Julio Jones. You know what I mean?
We need someone to cover those slot guys.
The slot guys, yes. Eric Rowe is a serviceable corner, but I don't trust him in a permanent role to guard their number 2. Eric Rowe's more of a double team with.
He's more of a nickel corner.
Yeah, a nickel corner. So I can see that dynamic, but I believe the Patriots will go heavy defense in the draft in the first 3 rounds, and I believe they will try to pull a Dallas Cowboys and get their Dak Prescott in a.
That's what I really think it's going to be a late draft pick for them.
Yeah.
They're going to draft heavy on either defense or offensive line to keep Brady alive.
Yeah, I can see it. I mean, I can see a possibility of something like we have Brady and we get our quarterback in the 6th round and he's good. And what happened to the Cowboys 2 years ago with Prescott, how Romo got hurt, and then Prescott has a franchise now. So I believe that's the direction we need to go as far as quarterback. I don't know. I like Josh Allen. I don't know how long he's going to be on the board. There's a lot of quarterback needy teams, especially in the AFC. Every team in the NFC has a quarterback.
Really, it just depends on who does Cleveland take and who
Yeah.
does Jacksonville go after. Pretty much all the AFC East, other than New England, need a quarterback. So
yeah, I would say Miami needs a quarterback. Buffalo needs one. The Jets definitely need one.
And because there's not really much depth in the quarterback and free agency market right now, other than Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins and
he's going to get paid a lot of money to go somewhere.
Where do you think he's going to end up?
Really, it's possible he could end up in New York.
The Jets?
The Jets. I mean, they have a lot of money to spend, and
I would say Kirk Cousins. I think he goes to the Broncos.
that's probably the number one position, honestly. He's like, but
Yeah.
don't count the Jets out. They love to get somebody to try to make a run to knock the Patriots off.
They will. But I say the Broncos because you already have their stout defense.
And they got
You got a good receiving core with Demaryius Thomas, and you have Emmanuel Sanders, and the only thing missing is a quarterback, and Kirk Cousins can take you to the promised land. If you can win the Super Bowl with Nick Foles, you build the right roster around that type of quarterback, oh, yeah, you can make a run.
The only thing is, can he stop turning the ball over?
Yes, if I'm John Elway, I'm picking up the phone like, listen, you want to be the highest paid quarterback? I'm bringing in Kirk Cousins. And
I'd say if they're not looking to draft, Kirk Cousins is their answer.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins is their answer. So where do you think, player-wise, New England goes in free agency in the draft? Like, so what players stand out to you in free agency, or what players do we have that you believe we need to re-sign or let go? Key free agents.
The big one that needs to stay is Danny Amendola.
Okay, why do you think that?
I know he doesn't have those flashy stats in the or in the regular season, but he's named Playoff Amendola for a reason. The man has 2 or 3 touchdown catches a game in the playoffs.
Yeah.
The Super Bowl against the Falcons, he had 2 touchdown catches?
Yeah.
And the 2-point conversion.
The 2-point, yeah.
Another 100 yards of receiving.
That was huge.
The man.
And then the year before, the 2 years before when we played Seattle, he had a touchdown.
Yeah, clutch touchdown.
A clutch touchdown. Amendola, ever since he's got, and it's not even just the playoffs. When they needed him in the regular season, he's there. I remember when he first got to New England, we played the Buffalo Bills, first game of the year, and Gronk did not play, and it was Edelman and Amendola, and they caught like 11 balls apiece in crucial moments. It was crazy.
He literally picked up with Edelman's injury. He picked up the slack.
He picked it up when he needed to. The production, as far as numbers, didn't really show, but when we needed him, he was there. And I believe Amendola is.
He's got to come back. He's not going to get paid a bunch of money, but he loves winning in New England. He loves winning those Super Bowls.
I will make the argument that Danny Amendola is, for the last 4 years, has been the clutchest receiver in the NFL.
When it hits the playoffs, yes.
Yeah.
When the playoffs hit, he's become the clutch guy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when we need it, I'm looking at Amendola. I'm looking at number 80. Edelman is clutch too, but Edelman wasn't here, and Amendola stepped up this year.
By far.
And you got to think, Amendola has a history of being injured a lot of concussions. So for him to step up in the absence of Edelman and really take over that slot role for the whole year really says a lot about him. And he is a true Patriot, and I hope we bring him back for another year because, like I said, Edelman comes back, Gronk. I say Jimmy Graham is a free agent. If I'm New England, I'm trying to bring him in and pair him up with Gronk to have that Gronk-Hernandez type combination again.
I see that, but what about Martellus Bennett? The guy's a great number 2 tight end. He helped us win a Super Bowl 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, he almost had the game-winning touchdown against the Falcons.
Yeah. Bennett is the thing with Bennett is I don't see teams actually game planning to stop Martellus Bennett. So for example, if you have Rob Gronkowski and Martellus Bennett, your attention is on Gronk. Bennett is going to be like, hey, just make sure he doesn't.
He's better at blocking, I think.
Yeah, he's a better blocking, but if you bring in a guy like Jimmy Graham, who do you game plan for? If you have a 2 tight end set with Gronkowski and Jimmy Graham,
well,
Gronk can take the night off and Jimmy Graham can go for 400 yards.
And then you're also forgetting you got Julian Edelman and Brandon Cooks.
Brandon Cooks.
You got these guys that you can't game plan for all of them. One of them's going to have a big night.
Yeah, I believe we should go offensive line in the draft too, in free agency. I should say we get
offensive line's going to need some help, especially on the right side.
We have to protect
Brady
at
was
41.
getting beat up.
We have to protect Brady at 41. It is a must. Another notable free agent that I'm looking at is Jarvis Landry. He's a potential guy that I think can come in here and pick up the offense.
I believe that, but then who's the odd man out?
Well, Honestly, I think we will.
Because you got Malcolm Mitchell, who's coming back off injury.
Yes.
Then you have Chris Hogan, who's been very productive this year.
Very productive.
And of course, Amendola, Edelman's coming back, and you got Cooks. That is a very crowded receivers position.
But you see, they also brought in guys like Kenny Britt and Philip Dorsett just for depth. You know what I mean? And I believe, and let's be realistic here. I love our receiving core, but not everyone can stay. As much as we love Danny Amendola, there's a huge possibility that he can be gone. He's 31 now, and I remember we got rid of Wes Welker at age 31. So
it's possible.
It's possible. So Jarvis Landry is a notable key free agent, and I'll say it here. I think it is way too early to start making predictions, but for next year, I can see Brady versus Garoppolo in the Super Bowl.
I firmly believe it. If the Niners can pick up their offense and defense, they can make a Super Bowl run. They have the talent.
If I'm the 49ers, the move that I make is get Dez Bryant, and I'll tell you why. Tony Romo was a deep thrower. He threw the football deep. So that's why Dez Bryant was very productive for those amount of years. When Dak Prescott came into the Cowboys, he's more of a dink and duck type of guy. So he hits Cole Beasley and Terrence Williams and Jason Witten for their little 5-yard routes. So that means Dez Bryant's production has went down because he doesn't chuck the ball deep like Tony Romo did. Tony Romo didn't care. He used to just throw it up to Dez, and Dez used to make plays. Dak Prescott's not that aggressive, not at this point in his career. So if I'm the 49ers, I'm saying, hey, let me get Dez Bryant. And
if they get Dez Bryant, that's going to change that entire offense.
Exactly.
They're going to become a top offense.
The Niners are one receiver away from.
Well, they already got two of the. Well, they did. They had Marquise Goodwin, the speedster. He's an Olympian. He could potentially medal at the Olympics.
He's good. So you have Goodwin, you have Bryant, and Garoppolo makes everyone better. You see, he took the 49ers. They won like one game before he got there, and he took over and
won 5 in a row,
undefeated, and he hung 44 on the number 1 defense in Jacksonville 2 weeks before the season ended. So I can see the 49ers really making a run next year if they make they put the right pieces around.
I don't think it's going to be a run next year, but within 2 to 3 years, they'll be making a Super Bowl run.
Oh, yeah.
That team will be the top team in the NFL. They'll be the team to beat.
Yeah, I think Garoppolo has, arm-wise, he has the best arm in the NFL. Like, if you look at his throwing motion, it's effortless. He literally flicks the ball.
All those years
he's accurate.
Playing behind Brady.
Oh, yeah.
He learned from the best.
Yes, he learned from the best. So Garoppolo, I believe that he will have that team in the Super Bowl within the next couple of years.
Yeah.
So overall, what do you make of the Malcolm Butler situation? Do you bring him back? Do you sit Malcolm Butler in a room and say, listen, we had this miscommunication, but here's what we're going to do moving forward? Or do you think him and Belichick just cut ties and Malcolm Butler goes to like the Saints?
As much as I'd love to see Butler stay, he's one of my favorite players in New England. I mean, the interception on the goal line.
That's historic. He'll always be remembered.
You're never going to forget that.
Yeah.
I mean, I love him. I think he's one of the best corners in the league. However, knowing the Patriots, this kind of sitting in the Super Bowl, that means he's done. He's going to be gone.
He's going to be gone.
He's going to get paid a lot of money to go somewhere else. I mean, I'd love to see them sit down and tell him, hey, stay in New England. Here's what we're going to do forward. You're going to be the number 1 guy. But sitting in the Super Bowl pretty much makes that pointless. That pretty much just tells me he's gone.
Yeah, he's gone. And plus, Belichick didn't even want to pay him before the season started. He gave Gilmore all that money. Malcolm Butler was supposed to go to the Saints, so I can definitely see the tension there. And so I believe, I think Malcolm Butler, he's done for. I'm a big Malcolm Butler fan. Wherever he goes, I will root for him. But yeah, he's for the most part done in New England. What do you think happens with Dion Lewis? Because he's popped. He's going to be a key free agent, and we're deep at the running back position with James White, Rex Burkhead.
I really think they're going to let him walk, unless he decides to take the league minimum. Because you got Rex Burkhead, which is basically not as shifty him, and then you have James White, the Super Bowl hero. That guy is going to be in New England for a while.
Yeah, James White.
And then you have, who else?
Mike Gillislee.
I think he's going to be gone.
Yeah, Mike Gillislee.
They stopped playing him.
After the Falcons game.
Yeah, after that they stopped playing him. He's on his way out. That was a wasted compensatory pick.
I mean, so with Lewis, key free, what do you think Lewis's best fit is if he leaves New England?
Any team that likes to pass to the running back.
I would say
he is a scat back.
Yeah, he is. I would say Seattle. Put him with Russell Wilson.
I could see Russell Wilson being a good fit for him.
Yeah, if I'm Dion Lewis, if I don't return to the Patriots, I would go to Seattle because they need a running back.
What about San Francisco? You got Garoppolo. He played New England's system where they passed to the running backs. And who do they got running back? Carlos Hyde.
He's serviceable. He's serviceable,
but he's not a pass back.
He's not a pass back. Yeah, he's more of a.
He's like a third down running back. I mean, they'll be great together. They would do awesome things, but I really think he would be good in San Francisco's system.
Man, San Francisco's going to be nice next year.
They look like they're going to be
with Garoppolo and Kyle Shanahan. The way I know it's still early, and I know it's been 7 games we've seen from Garoppolo, but them Niners is scary. Him and Aaron Rodgers in the NFC. They're going to be hard to deal with. The NFC West just got a lot more competitive, and if I'm the Arizona Cardinals, I'm looking at Lamar Jackson like, hey, you want to play in Arizona? Because you got Jared Goff and Sean McVay, you got Garoppolo with Kyle Shanahan, you got Russell Wilson with Pete Carroll. So Bruce Arians just retired, Carson Palmer just retired. So you bring in a young coach, you get you a quarterback like Lamar Jackson or a Josh Rosen or even a Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
So
any of those guys would be fine.
I think the NFL is going to be really good next year. Every team in the NFC has a quarterback. You can't name me one team in the NFC that doesn't have a quarterback.
I mean, other than the Cardinals, because they all retired.
Other than the Cardinals, and they're going to draft one.
Yeah. Otherwise, the NFC is stacked on quarterbacks.
Yeah, stacked on quarterbacks. So that's going to be very interesting dynamic to see. But, I mean, so what is your overall thoughts on the Super Bowl loss? Because we're about to close the chapter on the season. As a fan, what do you think? What are your thoughts on that?
I was pretty disappointed, but honestly, they were the better team. They played so much better. That defense wins championships, and that showed. New England, who'd they have on defense other than Gilmore and McCourty?
Yeah.
You had practice squad linebackers.
Yeah.
And we really were just signing people to play in the Super Bowl. I mean, our offense can hang. Our offense hung with them.
Our offense can
by
hang
far.
with anybody.
However, our defense wins championships. If you look at all the Super Bowl wins, they were top 5, top 10 in the defense.
Yeah.
In defense, total defense.
It would be nice to have a historic defense for once. Like, how Jacksonville had a defense we'll remember forever. Seattle had the Legion of Boom. Mm-hmm. I would like for 1 year where the Patriots have a defense where it's like, man, that's a historic defense. And I want that in the Tom Brady era. I think the closest thing we had to that was 2014 when we had Darrell Revis and Brandon Browner.
That was about what I was bringing up.
Yeah.
It's like we had Revis and, was it Maxwell?
Yeah,
Maxwell?
No, Brandon Browner.
Brandon Browner?
Yeah.
These guys are shut down corners. They pretty much stopped everything to the outside.
Yeah.
And they had linebackers that could blitz.
And McCourty and the safeties were just worried about anything inside. Yeah, that was a great defense right there.
We had good enough pass rushers to at least put pressure.
That was a good defense. So
that was a great defense.
I hope we get that defense together because the first 4 games were terrible, and we bend but don't break, but eventually we broke, and Nick Foles exposed that defense in the Super Bowl. So, yeah, I can't wait for the next season, see what it brings, but thank you for coming on the show.
No
I
problem.
appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Go Patriots. We will see you next week. See ya.